Hello and welcome to another CTA membership processing workshop. This workshop is designed for the local leaders who handle the memberships and non-memberships for their local chapter. It's also beneficial for other local leaders who want to know how membership is processed on a day-to-day and a month-to-month basis. Here we'll go over the objectives of this workshop. We'll go over the roles and responsibilities, the available tools, member engagement resources, membership processing, as well as the drop process. As I mentioned, this workshop is designed for the local membership contact for their locals. They're the ones who the staff in the membership department will always ask questions about a member's status or their deductions. The membership contact also plays a central role in the relationship between the local chapters, the CTA membership department, as well as the district payroll office. Some of the available tools and resources for these local leaders will be the cta.org/membership website, the CTA 360 mobile application, and CTA 360 Pro, which is the desktop version. I'll now go to the cta.org/membership website. Here you can see all the resources available to the local leaders. You can view information on the drop process, enrollment forms, and due structures. You can have access to the membership materials and resources. And following this link, you can also request any information that you may need. And later on in this presentation, we'll go over the voluntary contribution forms, which can be found here. I'll go to the membership training link here on the left side. And as you scroll down, you can register for upcoming live workshops and as well as download the workshop slides that you'll be seeing during this presentation. Now we'll go over to CTA 360, which is a mobile application and is directly linked to our membership database that CTA staff uses. With the app, local leaders can update contact information for their members, including address, phone numbers, emails, and work sites, as well as run fast reports and view them in a bar graph or a pie graph. These are designed to be more informational, high-level reporting. Secondly, there's CTA 360 Pro, which is a desktop version of the database that local leaders have access to. Using 360 Pro, you can run larger reports and export them out to a PDF or Excel format, and that should help you more easily maintain your membership database. Keep in mind that the 360 app and 360 Pro are updated in real time to whatever the current membership database is showing. So if you make a change in the app or 360 Pro, CTA staff will instantaneously see those changes and vice versa. To gain access to 360 the app or 360 Pro, you can watch the online training videos in the corresponding link on the left-hand side. The training videos are posted on YouTube, so you can watch them at your own convenience. Secondly, please complete the online authorization form once you're done with those training videos. The form will be sent to your local chapter president, who will then approve any access request. Keep in mind, any request is up to 1 year, limited to the current school year that we're operating in. We highly recommend for local leaders, and especially those in the membership contact positions, to check out this website, cta.org/membership, for all other resources. So as I mentioned, the cta.org/membership website is an important piece of resources for local leaders. The 360 mobile app and 360 Pro desktop versions also give local leaders access to the database that we use on a daily basis. Then there's the member engagement. At the top of every enrollment form, and it's also included on the online enrollments on our website, there's the value of membership, which is displayed for every member to read. These are the main benefits of joining CTA membership as well as within your local chapter, and it'll help you engage and hopefully recruit new members. Additionally, some of the benefits afforded to members include the educator employment liability, which is up to a $1 million liability policy, group legal services. So if a member had an issue with their credential or something with their employment status, being a CTA member can afford them legal representation. Members also get disability and life insurance policies at a discounted rate not available to non-members. And members also get travel discounts, including discounts on car rentals, theme parks, restaurants, vacation packages, and a few others. To see any CTA benefit, please go to ctamemberbenefits.org, and to view any NEA benefits, go to neamb.com. Now we'll talk about union recruitment rights. After the Supreme Court's Janus ruling in 2018, we really had to reshape on how we think of membership. So CTA helped advocate for Assembly Bill 119, which allowed local chapters to gain information about the individuals within their bargaining unit. AB 119 requires that districts send new hire information on a monthly basis to the local chapters, so those leaders can help engage and recruit them as members. Then on a quarterly basis, the district needs to send a full list of all bargaining unit members, and that includes members and non-members within the entire unit to the local. This can be useful so you can see what your membership count is on a quarterly basis. And then lastly, local leaders have access to the new employee orientations. So if you do have questions about that, please contact your primary contact staff, and those are the individuals in the CTA offices closest to you, or you can ask your district office. Secondly, there is Senate Bill 866, and this established the relationship for union membership between the member themselves and the local chapter. So locals or CTA just need to communicate that an individual wishes to participate or not participate to the district office. And keep in mind that with Senate Bill 866, members cannot contact the district office to drop their membership. CTA has a drop process procedure, and that can also be found at the cta.org/membership website. Keep in mind that any request to drop membership or stop paying dues needs to go through the local chapter president at least.
Okay, I'm going to be going over the membership processing portion of this webinar. We're going to be going on the online enrollment form, the actual paper membership enrollment forms, the different timelines in our department, membership cards and update rosters, and the membership types. The membership online enrollment form is the fastest way to join the association. The member would go to cta.org/join, and they would just click on the Join Now button. Once they click on the Join Now button, there are 3 different choices to choose from. There's certificated TK through 12, community college instructors, and there's the education support professionals, which is a classified unit. So they would choose whichever one would pertain to them. Once a member clicks on their appropriate category, the online enrollment form will come up asking their CTID number, and if they don't know the CTID number or if they're not a current member, they could leave it blank. And then they would choose to fill in their email address and their cell phone number. They could choose both or one or the other. If they choose an email that we currently do not have in the system, it will create a new record, but we will merge the duplicate records as we get those in our department. So after that, they would click the submit button, and then the online enrollment form would populate. The first page, just all the basic personal information. They must check all 4 boxes at the top before continuing, so that must be done. If they are a current member, the fields will already be pre-populated, but if they're new members, it will show up blank. They will fill in the information. The personal information that needs to be filled in has red asterisk on the field. The other information is optional. So once they fill in the information, they go to the second page, and then they would fill in their current information, the employer, the local, and then their work location. Just so you're aware, some districts in our local do have classified and certificated both under one payroll. So make sure that when they choose the local association portion, that they check down to the classified or certificated at that point. The next portion to fill in is the CTA membership category, and those are all listed below. If they're full-time, they'd be category 1, and if they're part-time, they choose the appropriate category as the percentage of teaching time. The next part of the enrollment form was talked about earlier and can be found on the website, the CTA voluntary contribution, and that's the $20 portion of the dues that can be allocated to the CTA advocacy or the foundation if they want to split it out a certain way, or if they want the $20 back. The form is located on the webpage. If they do request the $20 back, a new member has 30 days from the time that they sign up to fill that out if it's during the middle of the school year. If they're existing members, there's a form that can be filled out, and it's done every year. There's an open window period between September 1st and November 1st of each year. It just needs to be filled out one time as long as they remain within the district and an active employee member, and they would fill it out and send it into our office, and they would get a check every year. The checks are normally sent out approximately in December of each year. So as long as they, like I said, maintain their membership within the district, they don't have to fill a new form out each year. If they transfer to a new district, they would need to fill out the form again. The last portion of this page is the CTA ABC independent expenditure, and this is also optional. If they check that, then their dues will go into the general fund and not part of the CTA political better citizenship. So if they don't want to have their dues go towards that, they would just click on the little box. The last step of the form is just a confirmation page, and it just shows all the information that the member has filled out. They do need to read the terms and conditions of membership and check the box before continuing. And then they need to type in their name, which constitutes the signature. After that, they click the enroll button. If they don't click the enroll button, just so you know, they will not be a member. Once they're completed filling out the online enrollment, they will get a welcome message within 24 hours to their email. It'll have the CTA terms and conditions on it, their member benefits information, a link to their digital membership enrollment form, and it'll also include a temporary CTA membership card. So how do we know who enrolls online? Every Monday morning at 8 a.m., an email is sent out to the chapter leaders and also your CTA staff person, and it lists all the people who had joined online. So please make sure and forward this email on to the payroll office as soon as possible so dues start immediately. And now we'll just go over the membership paper form. So the paper form is red, and it has basically the same information as the online enrollment form. So they would fill out all the information. The major thing that you need to make sure when you receive this form back from the member is that it is signed and dated. If it's not signed and dated, then the form will not be valid. On the CTA website, you will also have this guide, and it just shows you the different categories and the percentage of teaching time just for your reference. Membership cards can be sent out digitally. They can be requested at any time. A person that has access to 360 can do this, or they could call in our department and we can order a card for them. And it's only sent to their personal email. That's why we always ask for personal email instead of school email. And then the member can save this to their Apple Wallet, save to their photos, so it could be available to them at any time in case they need it. We also send out a physical card each year. Returning members will receive their cards in October of each year. This year we mailed them out to each individual member's home address. That's why it's also very important to make sure all your members' information is updated and that we have the most current address on file. And new members, we mail out those cards to their home address, and those are generated every other week in our department. So as members are entered into the system during the year, we do mail them cards out also. So now I'm going to be going over the membership timelines that we have in our department. In July of each year, we send out membership materials packets to local, and also a new membership roster. And that's also mailed out to the district, and that includes all the new dues on it. And we ask that you send that back to us by September. So then if there's any resigned, retired members, we can clean up the database. In November, a roster is sent out, and we ask that it be returned to CTA by January. This roster is important because it affects your NEA-RA delegate count. It's really important that if you see members that aren't having dues deducted, that you notify us and the payroll department immediately. In March of each year, we send another membership roster up just to clean up the database as well as we can. And we ask that you please return that to us by May of each year. And in May of each year, an email is sent out requesting if there's any changes to your local dues or local leadership. If there are any changes, to please let us know by June, because we do send out the rosters with all of the updated information, and the local dues are included on there. If you have no changes, you could just email it back to us, say no changes, and just so we would have record of that everything's remaining the same. And ongoing throughout the year, it's really important that you submit your enrollment forms in a timely manner to the membership department and the district as soon as possible. I tell my locals that if they can scan and email me a copy, that would be great. And if they want to email me and the district on one email, so it's less work for you, to do that. So here is a sample of what our roster looks like that will be sent out to you. It's just all of the members' information, address, their email. As a local leader, if you have access to 360, you can make any of the demographic changes that need to be updated on the roster. Address, if they have a name change, last name, but just make sure if they do have a name change that is updated with the district also, because we base our information on whatever the district has, because that's their legal name. You could update their phone numbers, emails, or work locations. So any of that information that's updated, you do not have to turn the pages back into us. It's only changes to their actual membership. If they're retired, resigned, you would put in this pink area, you just put retired, resigned. Or if it's easier for you to create a list and email to your staff person here, that will work too. So this portion of the roster tells you if the member is active, its enrollment date, and then their different categories. This person here is a full-time teacher, and we'll be going over the other categories in a minute. So here are all the categories that are on the roster. The active with the membership category, those are dues paid members, and they are members. If you see a non-member with a category, those are people that have dropped their membership outside of their commitment date or window, but they just wanted to drop their membership even if it was outside their window. So they are non-members, but they still need to maintain their dues and pay until they drop during their window. And we'll be going over the drop process in a little bit. The next category is non-member dropped, and these are members that have dropped. They either didn't have a commitment date or they dropped during their valid window. A non-member potentials those are the newly employed people in your district, and we just have them in the system as non-member potentials. Non-member no deductions are people that are either on a leave of absence or we do not know their status. When we reconcile our locals, we normally do it 3 times a year. If they drop off payroll and we are not notified by the local or the district that they're no longer with the association, we just flip them to non-member no deductions until we hear otherwise. And the last category is non-member former fee payers. And these are older people from our system that were in the system prior to the Janus case as former fee payers. And then we have alternative membership. Common alternative membership is the miscellaneous membership. And these are previous members, but they need to maintain their membership because of legal services, or they're on a leave of absence and they need to maintain insurance policies, so they need to maintain their membership. The next membership is associate membership. Associate membership shall be open to any person who is interested in advancing the cause of public education, but who is not eligible for any other class of membership in the association. They would be a category 1, but they would only pay the NEA and CTA portion since they're no longer part of the local bargaining unit. These are people that have been promoted to administrative level. They would become an associate member. And then we have our retired membership, and these are just previous members also who want to maintain their membership because they have the benefits also through CTAs, such as life insurance or standard California casualty. They also get to maintain their benefits except for the legal portion. And associate membership also, these 2 categories do not have legal representation. Retired do get 30 minutes, but that is all that they receive. And the last alternative membership is student membership. This is any person regularly enrolled in an institution of higher education in the state of California, preparing to become a teacher and eligible to become a member of the Student California Teachers Association. and they pay a much lower amount. They pay $15 for CTA and $15 for NEA. So just to review, active membership is required for any CTA benefit. Reduced options for members on a leave of absence. So if the member is on a leave of absence and goes into miscellaneous and are unpaid leave, they would be reduced to category 3A. Members converted to non-member status, just please be aware that if we do not know why they drop off the dues deduction roster, we do flip them to non-member, no deduction. If the chapter leaders know that they're no longer with your local, just notify us so we can remove them from the list. Also includes non-member potential. If you see potential members that were on your list that should no longer be at your local, you could also let us know. We could end date those also. And any active member that has a leave of absence of a year or less and remain within the same district can be reactivated, and they do not need to fill out a new enrollment form.
Now we'll go over the CTA drop process procedure, which talks about the maintenance of dues, the commitment date, and the drop process procedures if you actually get a request. So what is the maintenance of dues? The maintenance of dues is part of the terms and conditions that members agree to by signing and dating their enrollment form. It is located on every physical enrollment form as well as the online enrollment form process. And by agreeing to that, the member has agreed to not only the terms and conditions, but also the payroll authorizations, which lead to their monthly union dues deductions. So what is the maintenance of dues clause on the enrollment forms? Once a member signs and dates their enrollment form, whether on an actual enrollment form copy or on the online process, they're agreeing to the terms and conditions of membership. Part of those terms and conditions are the maintenance of dues, which commits individuals to their membership for a 1-year period, and it'll allow them to drop membership at any time, but they can only request to stop paying dues within a 30-day window each year. That's why, as we mentioned before, it's so crucial for members to sign and date their enrollment form, just so we can process their memberships as well as notify the district that they have authorized their union dues deductions via their paycheck. So we'll go over the importance of commit dates. If a member does have a commitment date, this means that membership can be dropped at any time. However, they can only request to stop paying dues within their 30-day window. The revocation letters are only considered valid if they submit it during their window period. If a member does not have a commitment date, then their membership can be dropped at any time, and as well, they can request to stop paying dues at any time. So now we'll go over an example of the dues revocation window period. This individual or this member enrolled in membership on August 1st, 2024. So their commitment date will now be August 1st of every year. To calculate their 30-day drop window, subtract 60 days from August 1st, and that will give you June 2nd. Then subtract 30 days from their commitment date, and that will give you July 2nd. So this would mean that this member can drop membership at any time. However, if they want to request to stop paying dues, their request needs to be submitted from June 2nd to July 2nd of every year. So the commitment date, as I mentioned, is found on the newer enrollment forms. The blue form on the left was the enrollment form back in 2018. We have since updated the enrollment form, and that will be the current red form that we hope all CTA staff and local leaders are using. If we do receive an enrollment form that looks different than these two, we may still be able to process their membership. And lastly, on the right-hand side, these are commitment cards. Soon after the Janus Supreme Court's ruling in 2018, there was a commitment card campaign performed by typically larger chapters, which allowed them to engage their current members and have them commit to membership as well. This commitment card campaign was done via CTA, So the card that you see here, or this PDF, was generated from the membership department and included the members' contact information. To avoid having those members re-enroll in membership, this commitment card has the same language that's found on enrollment forms, but was designed for existing members. So for the drop process, members will need to either hand deliver or mail their request via the post office to the chapter president. Chapter presidents can designate an address of their choice, whether it's an office or PO box for the local chapter, a CTA office in their area, or their work address or home address if they prefer. But at minimum, the request to drop membership and or to stop paying dues needs the member's name and their ID number if they know it, their home address, because we do send a confirmation to them, the full name of their local chapter or the district that they work for. This helps in identifying who they are. And the request needs to be signed and dated. Keep in mind that a member has a commitment date and therefore they have a 30-day window. The date of the letter and or the time stamp or the postmark needs to fall within the respective period. So what happens if your local chapter or your chapter president receives a request to drop membership? Step number one is to contact your primary contact staff. These are the individuals who work in the CTA offices closest to you and help organize your local chapter either by organizing or recruiting. Number two, check for a commitment date. As I mentioned, not all members will have a commitment date. If they do, then they will have that 30-day window to keep in mind. But if they don't have a commitment date, it is a bit of an easier process. Number three, contact the member directly. This is an opportunity for the local chapter to see why the member wants to drop their membership. Sometimes it can be for financial reasons. Sometimes it could be for philosophical or ideological differences. But this is an opportunity for you as a local leader to review the benefits for that member to stay within membership and within their as a member within their bargaining unit, and to identify the risks that they face if they actually drop their membership. If that conversation is successful and the member no longer wants to drop their membership, then great job, and you have nothing else to do. However, if that conversation is unsuccessful and the member still wants to drop their membership and they still want to stop paying dues, if that's applicable, then the chapter president needs to notify the CTA membership department of that request. In the email, and you can scan that letter that you received, or you could take a picture of it, email that a copy of that letter, the reason that the member wants to drop, and the verification of contact. So as a president, you can simply say that you approve this request, that you communicated with the member, but they still want to drop their membership, and here's a copy of that letter. Those are the pieces that we need in the CTA membership department to process and file away those requests. Once the membership department processes that request, we do send confirmation letters. The first letter on the left-hand side will be sent to the district office, alerting them that the member has changed their membership status and they should no longer have dues deductions. If the member has dropped their membership outside of their 30-day window, they are still bound to have union dues deductions, and as we discussed earlier in this presentation. Secondly, there is the drop confirmation letter that we send to the member themselves. This is why it's so important that their request to drop membership or to stop paying dues has home address. This letter is front and back. On the second paragraph, it says, this letter confirms your status as a non-member and ineligibility for membership benefits. So this is telling them that we have confirmed and processed their request. And on the backside is just another display of all the benefits that they are losing with their membership. So keep in mind of a few drop scenarios. If a member does not have a commitment date, it is typically an easier process. However, the chapter president or their designee still has to communicate or have a conversation with the member to try to keep them on. and ultimately the president still has to approve or deny that request. If a member does have a commitment date, then there's two scenarios, whether they're within their 30-day window or they're outside of their 30-day window. Keep in mind that if they are within their 30-day window, they can drop membership and stop paying dues as long as the president approves that request. And if they are outside of that window, they are only able to drop membership and they are still bound to pay union dues deductions until they send a second letter to CTA within their next available 30-day window, letting us know that they no longer wish to pay union dues deductions. Remember, as a local leader, you have access to CTA 360 Pro, which is a desktop version, and CTA 360 app, which you can use on your phone. And both of those resources give you real-time access to the membership information in our database. If you have any questions regarding this presentation, you can go to our website, cta.org/membership. You can contact us via email at membership@cta.org, or you can give us a call at 650-552-5278. Thank you for attending.